Well, hey friends, welcome back to Watavue Mountain. You guessed it, we're still at the mountain. Day 7. So, all this stuff is done, the subfloor, the joists, the rim joists, the banding underneath is done. I went through with the lag screws yesterday and finished those off. We got our thermal insulation, our posts, our concrete, done. Absolutely feels wonderful. Today's weather report, it says it's 40 degrees, but the wind is whipping, so I don't know what it really is. It's snotsicle degrees is what it is, because my nose just won't stop running, so I'll apologize in advance. But enough of me rambling. Thanks for coming, thanks for checking us out. Get yourself something warm to drink, because like I always say, if it's this cold here, I know it's probably colder wherever you're at. So get yourself something to drink, sit back, relax. Let's see what we're getting into today. Let's get to busy. Task at hand today. First things first, I'm going to check the floor, the subfloor, to make sure we're level. I'm pretty sure we are, but better safe than sorry. So I got the laser set back up again. We'll check that real quick, and then exciting day. We're going to start the first wall. We're going to start that that north wall. Partially we're going to start on that one because it's a short wall, which everybody says that's where you're supposed to start, is on the short walls, and 2, because that wall, at least up until above the loft, is not going to have a door or a window. So we've never framed a wall before, except for maybe in a doghouse, which doesn't really count because I didn't do 16 inches on center and I really didn't care how it measured out. So first time building the wall, so we're going to go with you, or you can come with us, whichever way you look at it, step by step as we lay out this wall, as we nail it all together and get the outside. Like I said, it's super windy today, so we're probably just going to stand it up to make sure that everything is where it should be, and then we're going to lay it back down because I don't need it to get blown over in the middle of the night. So let me grab the laser level, let's make sure this floor is all good to go, and then we'll start building that wall.
Let me say something. What he meant to say was he's super excited because I'm back to help him today. He forgot that.
I was going to get around to it. The boss is back. So I got to actually do some work today. The boss is back. Okay, so first things first, we got the laser set up. I already leveled this out to where it beeps. So we're just going to walk around and check. You hear there? Well, I had it. Where'd it go? We're talking about like a 1/16 of an inch. Do I have this thing on micro? Nope, there we go. So, down a titch. There you go, right there. Perfect. So we'll go over here. Well, that's the same board. Yeah. Perfect there, right there, you see? Pretty much straight up. So we're looking pretty good all the way around. Even out here where we had to do some adjustment, look at that, right on the money, right off the bat. Well, I hope I don't stand in the way. There you go. All right, we're gonna call that good enough. I think the deck is level. Like we talked about in the previous video when we talked about the deck, I went ahead last night off camera and finished a bunch of screws, at least the outer rim screws, and then I did chalk lines all across the center so we can just kind of keep screwing as we go. All these are down securely now, but they're just not as many screws as I would like to have in them at the moment. I just got tired of doing screws. So we're gonna do some wall, do some screws, do some wall, do some screws, kind of do it as we go along. So enough of me jamming. Let's start building a wall. We're on that north side wall. We have our bottom plate and our bottom top plate laid out side by side, 16 feet. I didn't pick a 16-foot cabin just for the 16-foot ease of it, but it just worked out that way. So what we're gonna do now is we're gonna start laying this out. Like I said, we picked this wall first because there's no doors, no windows, nothing. It's just gonna be us putting studs, and it's our first wall ever. So we know this goes all the way to the end on both ends. So what I want to do first is I want to measure over 3.5 inches, because the long walls are going to come and butt into this at 3.5 inches. Not that that's super important to know at this stage, but I'm going to write wall here, W-A-L-L, just so I remember, oh that's right, that's where that wall is coming. So not that that's going to affect my 16-inch on center, but I'm going to run my tape now. I'm going to run it on down all the way to the end, if the wind will allow me. And then I'm going to start marking these out. All right, so I'm going to come first things first, right? We're at 16 inches. So here's our 16. And as we talked about before, we know that that's where we want the center of the board to be. Okay, so what do we have to do? We have to go back a quarter, right? And then we go forward, back 3/4 and forward 3/4 to make up for the width of the board. Okay, and then we put an X because that's where we want the stud to be, right there. And then what we're going to do is we're going to take our speed square and we're going to draw a line on both, right there and right there, X there, X there. So now we know that's where the studs go, right? So I'm just going to zip on down here and I'm going to mark all these out all the way down, and then I'll come back and I'll hit it with the speed square. So quarter, X, 3/4. And remember, the red numbers are 16-inch on center numbers. So that makes it kind of easy. You don't have to sit here and do a bunch of math in your head. You can just keep going and go that way. Last thing I got to do is measure out on the end, 1.5 inches for the end board, and we'll do that here in just a second. Something I forgot to mention, and we'll mention it now. With your top and your bottom plates, you want the dead straightest boards that you can get, because especially for the top plate, because once you get a top plate up there, until you get the rafters and get everything else, you get your end, whatever it's a gable end or whatever kind of end wall you have, that thing's just gonna, it's real hard to fix. So just try to find your straightest boards to use as your top and bottom plate, just to make your life easier. And thankfully, again, if you use those folks over in Ashland, Harris Plumbing and Electric, they let me pick my own boards. So these are all pretty straight. So same thing, we got these pre-cut studs, 92 inches. So same thing, we're going to check these to make sure they're not all twisted. Of course, they're all sitting on a trailer, but we need 13 for this end wall. So we're going to grab 13 off the trailer, then we're going to get them lined up, then we're going to get them nailed in place. So let's go ahead and do that. So sorry, we got wind and generator now. It's just all coming together, ain't it? But that's all right, we're building a wall. So I got my X, we got all 13 laid out. I'm going to stand up this bottom plate. I'm going to bring it right here to line up my line. Sean's there holding that end so I can square it up, and then I'm going to drop 3 nails in this bad boy. On to the next. So you see why we drew 2 lines? Again, my first wall, I want to make sure that I'm flush. So I'm gonna come over, I'm gonna keep wiggling it back and forth till I get it right where I want it, right there. Whoa. There you go. And we're gonna just keep on keeping on. And we crown them all with the crown up, so they're all going the same direction when we put that outside panels on. Now we're gonna just flip it around. I'm gonna not flip it around. I'm gonna jump on the other end and we'll attach the top plate. This wind is crazy. Sorry, wind and generator. So we're gonna do a dry run. I want to put the sheets on when we actually physically stand it up to finally stand it up, not physically. When we finally stand it up to nail it in place. But like I said, we're not gonna do that today because it's just too windy. So what I've done is over here, I put 2 of these blocks on the back side just to help stop this. So when we stand this up, those are going to help stop it and keep it from sliding off the deck, so we don't just drop it off the edge. So Sean's going to set down the GoPro and we're going to grab this 16-foot wall without the panels on it and see if we can stand it up, and then just make sure everything fits the way it's supposed to. So let's do that. We're going to flip it over to the time lapse for that. See the wind blowing. The beer doesn't move like this by itself, but we got the corners squared up. The edge line looks good. Everything looks good. So what we're going to do now is we're going to just go ahead and we're going to put the 4x8 sheets of plywood OSB on the outside and lay it down, then put the sheets of OSB on the outside. And like I said, as you can see, it's way too windy. Maybe if we were experienced carpenters and framers and just what we did for a living, I might feel comfortable putting up this wall right now, but this is our first wall ever in the history of ever, so we're not doing that. We're going to lay it back down, we're going to throw the sheets on it, nail the sheets on it, and then we're going to go to the other end and do the other wall. So here we go. All right, I started to get ahead of myself. We started throwing those sheets on and I forgot. What we're going to do here in this corner is called a California corner. So you see, we took one of those 2x4s and we laid it face out. So this is going to be the other wall that comes into this wall is going to butt into it. We need somewhere for this whatever we put material on this wall to connect to, and that wall. So where they come together, there's a surface for us to connect whatever, whether we put tongue and groove, we put drywall, whatever we're going to put there, then we can connect to that. The only downside to this is we have to insulate behind it. Otherwise, there's just going to be a big air gap there. But we'll talk about that later when we do insulation. So, California corner, something recommended. We'll see how it works out. So we got this first sheet squared up here. We're just going to nail this bad boy in place, and then we're going to come back and eventually I'm going to run down the centers to secure it. So there's one in the corner here, one here in the center, there we go. We're going to do that all the way across, get all these lined up and get them nailed down, then we'll come down and we'll finish down through the middle. Again, first wall. So I'm not super confident that I'm going to be able to just go straight down here and nail in the center of this board. So we went ahead and did some more chalk lines all the way down. One, it helps me know where I can step, and then two, then I know that I'm shooting nails into wood behind it instead of just shooting it through the OSB for nothing. So we're gonna go ahead and shoot this real quick and get this wall checked off as done, except for up. But other than that, it's built and ready to be stood up. So here we go. Well, there you go. Wall number 1 is done. I don't know how long that really took us. Maybe a little over an hour, which I don't think is terrible for our first time. But as you can hear, probably this wind is still whipping. There's no way we're standing this wall up today. Isn't gonna happen. Trip will be here tomorrow. Maybe with his help, we can get it stood up and we can get it braced, and then we can get these other 3 walls done. We're gonna try to see if we can frame up this other gable end wall, the other 16-footer on this end. It's already 3 o'clock, so we got kind of a late start today because boy did I get saved. So I knew we were going to be shooting a lot of footage up here, and I've been up here for a week straight. I ran out of storage. Called around this morning to a bunch of places, and some folks, hope you're sitting down, Radio Shack. I know, I didn't think Radio Shack was still in business. Alexander City, Alabama has a Radio Shack. So about 45-50 minutes each way. I drove down there. Thankfully the fella, again, just God blesses us in the most mysterious ways, right? It was 10 minutes before 9. They didn't open till 9. I was like, well, let me give him a call. The guy decided to answer the phone. Even though he wasn't at work yet, he answered the phone and saved the day. So I went and bought another external hard drive so I can save all this goodness to share with you, and he saved our bacon. So if you're ever in Alexander City, Alabama, and you need something that you think Radio Shack might have, give them a shout. They literally saved my butt today. So all that to say, we got a late start, and the boss lady just came up today. And instead of having a Thursday date night, we're gonna have a Friday date night. And you know it's Friday because I got the red on, because we remember everybody deployed on Friday. So enough of me rambling. Let's shuffle some stuff around here, see if we can't get started on framing up this other wall. Well, hey friends, just like we talked about before, I knew this was gonna happen a couple of times. I didn't know how many times. I think we're at about 30% now, where I'm sitting in the office, I'm editing the video, and I realized there's no way we're getting 2 or 3 days worth of wall footage into this one video, and we're still able to do some step-by-step talk-through, walk-through as we go. So I apologize, I keep ending the videos this way. It's just something that's gonna happen. You saw there, I was talking about how lucky I got that the Radio Shack guys had that big 2 terabyte hard drive. It really did save the bacon, because we were plowing through some footage. We really, I think, got a lot of good quality footage. So we really hope you're enjoying this whole series. We're absolutely beside ourselves how well our things are going. Yeah, we've made some mistakes, and again, I want to hear them. I want to hear your comments. Leave them down below. Let me know what you think we can improve. And again, if there's something we can come back and fix later, I definitely want to know about that. Because I watch some YouTube videos. I have a book that I read a little bit here and there, and the rest I'm just kind of winging it, making it up as we go. So that's it. So we're going to cut this off right here. So again, absolutely blessed. We are so blessed beyond words. God is good, and is just keeps giving us blessings over and over and over. So if you like this series, you like this video, hit the like button down below if you like the video. If you like the series, or even if you just like the video, go ahead and hit subscribe. Hit the little bell icon over there so you know when we post new content. We try to post every couple weeks so you stay up to date with what we're doing, even though we're a little behind, just because I'm a slow editor. And then the last thing, of course, look over here. I'm going to post a video. It'll probably be something related to this build series. And yeah, that's all we got for this video. So thanks for coming. Thanks for checking us out. As always, be safe, be blessed, and we'll see you next time.